You know, it might be worth looking in the Guinness Book of World Records to see if we might be setting a record here today as the largest group ever to sit in a sauna bath together. I'm sure more than a few of you are thinking that I could have at least had the decency to hold my last service on a day other than the hottest day of the year. So let me say to you, I'm truly sorry to bring you all here to sweat, but I appreciate you coming. I truly appreciate you coming and sharing this time with me and with one another. And I promise you I'll keep this short. The first time I ever stood up in this pulpit was November of 2009. You had just called me to be your rector. I was 46 then. John was 45. Colin was 11, almost 12. And Jared was 8. A lot of water's gone under the bridge since those days. Many of you recall that I didn't come until January of 2010, and that was because it was important for me to be with my previous parish in Wareham, Good Shepherd, through one last Advent and Christmas. You asked me to come in November, however, to do a service for you because you wanted to see what you had just bought. As we look back together, I pray that there is little or no buyer's remorse among you today, truly. I know from my point of view, being your pastor, your priest, and your friend all these years has been the most grand and wonderful adventure of my professional life. In those first few months, I have to say, I was pretty timid. You probably have to say that too. Following in the footsteps of Mally Lloyd was not easy. She has been a friend of mine for years, and she was beloved by you, as was Ted Cole, the assisting rector, and most deservingly so. The two of them did so much for this parish, and they saw you through a dark time. I was conscious in the beginning not to trample on their good work. I rather wanted to build on it, and I think we have truly done that together. Made a lot of mistakes through the years, a lot of them here. But you have always been gracious. You've always given me the benefit of the doubt. An act of kindness that certainly has never gone unnoticed by me. You welcomed my family and me, you embraced us, and you loved us through it all, through thick and thin. And there is no way that I can ever begin to express my gratitude to you for that. Christ Church has been a part of this community since 1844. From humble beginnings in a little wooden church over on Russell Street to this marvelous, awe-inspiring edifice Christ Church has called home since 1914. A lot of ministry has gone out of this parish over those years, 178 of them to be exact. I was here for just a little over 12 of those years. But you know, we packed a lot in, didn't we? I'm not going to rehash all of that. You know the ways in which you connected over these past 12 plus years to this parish community and to what we have been able to accomplish together. As I said to the vestry at our last meeting and wrote in my piece in Friday's Keeping Connected, what I am most proud of, if I'm permitted to have pride in anything, it is that as I leave Christ Church, I leave a parish that is set upon a strong foundation, with good leadership, a culture of transparency and collaboration, and an overwhelmingly generous spirit. You are such generous people. We overcame some pretty sizable obstacles together. But that's just it. We did it together. You responded to my crazy leadership style. I don't know why, but you did. And you jumped in to do the work. You trusted me, and I did my very best not to betray your trust, because I know how delicate that is. But I think that what we came to learn together is that in that place of vulnerability, that place of trust, we were able to build together an altar, if you will, where the spiritual life was allowed to grow and to thrive. I think we all know that there is still a lot more here to do. You have a capital campaign right on your doorstep. I know you well enough to know that you will be generous as you can be with that campaign, which is aimed at preserving this church for future generations and for equipping it to do your part for an ailing planet. I ask each of you here today to step up to that challenge. As the world gets more and more complicated and even downright scary, you will find new and creative ways to care for the most vulnerable among you, the children and the elderly. And I'm going to throw young families in there too. I thank all those involved in the church school program and the pastoral care team for what they do, but caring for the most vulnerable among you will require more people resources and more financial resources in the future. That will ensure that the most vulnerable among you is served with dignity and love. For many, many years, Christ Church has done an amazing job serving the marginalized people who live here in the Plymouth area, the unhoused and the food insecure in particular. I would invite you, however, to look beyond Plymouth and connect with people and organizations serving the marginalized around the country and the world. Since the beginning of the summer, you have already given somewhere between $6,000 and $8,000 to Episcopal Relief and Development to help the refugees from the Ukrainian war. Thank you for that. But there will be more people to serve as the years roll along. So I invite you to keep at it. Keep at it. And don't be discouraged. If I have any regrets, it's in that I didn't support you well enough in your efforts to be more involved with social justice issues. I know some of you have a real heart for that ministry, and I encourage you to work for justice and strive for peace and dignity of all people. Now, finally, I want to thank Jonna for the incredible ministry that she had here among you, and frankly, for putting up with me through all of these years. It's a hard thing to be the spouse of a clergy person, especially me, but she does it with such grace and love. I'm truly grateful that she was able to find her own ministry here among all of you, and I thank you for responding to that ministry of hers. I also want to thank Colin and Jared just for being great people. It also isn't easy being the children of a clergy person, by the way. In fact, I'm not sure there is anything more uncool than having a dad who wears a dress and a collar every Sunday. But the two of them rolled with it, and I'm so proud of them, and I really thank them for not making such a big deal out of it. Now, I don't want this to turn into an Academy Awards speech and be played off the stage by good, Elijah's not on the organ at the moment. And I certainly don't want to thank some and not others. So let me say this in closing. I want to thank each and every one of you here today, and you at home, and those who through the years came through those doors who are no longer with us, those who have passed away or moved away or simply left. I want to thank each and every one of you for how you connected with me through these years. I want to thank you for your guidance, for teaching me so much. I want to thank you for your care and your love. I love each and every one of you, and I always will. You will always have that deeply held place in my heart. So may God continue to bless you, and may God continue to bless Christ Church Parish. In Jesus' name.